Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today we're talking about the one and only Bitcoin. We're also going to be talking about the Bitcoin summit, the Trump summit. Pretty much there was news surrounding Trump, right? Talking about crypto. It wasn't very long. There is some news to be covered though, and important things that I do want to highlight. So before we jump into the news, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I just want to say, regardless of the news, I am bearish at the moment, just temporarily, because, ladies and gentlemen, we are respecting this area over here of $95,000. And you can see that we are creating lower highs when it comes to Bitcoin, right? We can see that when we look at the daily closes, we have closed at 90,700-ish. Technically it's this, so around 90,000. And we are creating lower highs. So even if I remove this support and resistance right here, you see high here and high here. And if we go down, right, we are coming to a trend line support. However, I do not have lots of faith that this will hold and be one of those instances where we go something like this. It's more so going to be something like this to sweep all the liquidity. Okay, that is just how historically Bitcoin has been. Right, and that is how I believe is going to be. Even when we go look at the 4-hour candle closes, right, we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that when we look at Bitcoin, right, if we take away the wicks, we can see that the 4-hour candle closes are also creating lower highs and lower lows, right? Low, lower low, we have this high, lower high, and etc. And especially if we bring back the wicks, we can see a lot of detailed work there, right? There are going to be some few places on these candles and on the structure where I will be looking to be shorting Bitcoin temporarily, right? I have one in mind, and I do think we will be sweeping some type of liquidity. There's a decent chance we could go down here before we have a decent bounce up. But for me, if anything, it is more so going to be likely that we go back down to here. Now, we do also have the gap that, some people think it's enough for it to be filled. Some people don't. For me, it could be enough. Like I said, tonight's trading view is a little bit glitch, and the gaps don't technically have to be literally 100% filled for it to count. Even if it's not fully filled, this can always come back to when bear season happens. But as of right now, there is just bearish structure. So I do expect for us to be selling off generally in the future. Of course, when the structure updates and things change, I will update you guys that. Now, in terms of this summit, ladies and gentlemen, right, there is actually some positive news to take away. You know me, most of the time, structure is going to do what it's going to want to do regardless of news. But I do think news is good for the overall longevity when it comes to projects, right? So when we go over here, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that President Trump says America will never sell Bitcoin. Go and play the clip real quick. We can see him say it.
From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well. Never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right?
So yeah, he is joking around here, but he does confirm that America will never sell their Bitcoin. Now, obviously, I don't fully buy that. For me, there's going to be always times where market makers, they sell and buy, and America's part of that. So I do think though it does mean in terms of longevity that they will always have a good amount of Bitcoin. So that is also positive. But just because even if though America wouldn't ever sell their Bitcoin, it doesn't mean price is not going to cycle out. It doesn't mean there's not going to be cycles. There's not going to be ups and downs. It is just impossible. Okay, it is just literally impossible. Also, we can see that President Trump orders U.S. government to explore new pathways to buy more Bitcoin for the reserve. So, I'll play this clip right now.
We'll also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers. In addition, my order directs federal agencies to conduct an inventory of all crypto assets currently held by the U.S. government and determine how they can be transferred easily to the Treasury. Non-Bitcoin digital will also explore.
So there we go. We see that, ladies and gentlemen, he says it. And we also have some more news, right? We see over here that U.S. regulator says banks can engage in crypto activities For me, all of this stuff was inevitable. When I was, going to different countries last year, I was asking about crypto and, the banks and stuff, and they're like, oh, no, no, no. But I bet you now they're saying, yes, something's coming soon. And it's just the typical stuff. You always have to be 2 steps ahead of the curve, or you are going to be missing out. So very good bullish news overall. Right, we can see that this is the same news. So yeah, we can see we covered everything, right? If we go here, this is actually one of the platforms I use to get some news. We can see that Michael Saylor says the Bitcoin reserve has potential to generate 16 to 81 trillion wealth by 2045. Now he expects Bitcoin to be, probably a million or more at that point. But I also do believe this is fantastic for America. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen, just logically speaking, right? You have an asset that doesn't have any inflation in terms of supply, but you can inflate the price due to the amount of money you can print and overvalue this asset. And that is what I always saw in Bitcoin for the last few years, right? That's why I always like Bitcoin. I always believe in crypto and altcoins because this is just free money for them. It's free game. It's a new opportunity to be creating some type of wealth. So, I just see it that way too. So really exciting times. Doesn't matter about short-term price action, and right, even if we were to go lower, which it does also seem like we are, generally speaking, right? We have a candle close, possibly around $86,000. Last week's candle close was much more solid, but the gap and everything got messed up. We will continue to monitor price, right? As of right now, there is absolutely zero indications that we will be, going back up to 95, 96, 97,000 dollars or above, right? I do think there's going to be one more liquidity sweep or, some type of retracement before we continue going up. Worst case scenario, I'd say we'd go back down to low 70s, consolidate a little bit there, retest off of this big zone, and then continue to fly up again. I do think overall we are creating very nice bullish structure on the very high time frame, right? We have this high, we have these lows, right? We created higher highs, and even if we come back down to even 70K, we are creating higher lows. And then I would expect a push to create higher highs. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to happen, right? We'll monitor how price reacts off once we come back into these zones, because this could just be the double top cycle and everything could be, selling off over the next few months. So we'll see. We'll monitor everything. Hopefully, we at least at the minimum, confirm that this is a higher low, and at least at the minimum create a higher high, hopefully upwards of 140, 150K, just so altcoin seasons can become absolutely so we can have an amazing altcoin season. I do still expect an amazing altcoin season, regardless of what people say. I think people just thought everything was going to happen faster, but you have to realize when there's more money involved, it takes much longer for everything to play out, which means I also do think cycles are going to take longer next time around, possibly 5 or 6 years. We will have to see, of course. We'll have to see and monitor everything. As of right now, I am chilling. Hopefully you guys are too. I know a lot of you guys are stressing though, so make sure to take care of your mental health, because it does matter and it will drain you and your life if you are too focused on the micro moves. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.